One of the problems with him is that's off script. If you even notice, if you saw how he said it, and even just read the quote, he says, "And we're both." Why in the world are you bringing that up? That has nothing to do with anything.
Not at all. Not at all.
Well, he has a track record of playing the race card too, in terms of dealing with criticism of the office. But I mean, I think when when Congress is investigating the death of hundreds of people based that can be directly related to an operation in the ATF, which is under Eric Holder's jurisdiction, I think it's time for Eric Holder to go. I think that Congress should be demanding his resignation. Obviously, there are a number of people in Congress who already have it. It's dozens. I don't know. I think it's like 56 members of Congress have already demanded his resignation. But I think it's time to ask some of the Democrats on Capitol Hill whether or not they're going to endorse Eric Holder's view that this is no big deal, and the only reason why people are really interested in this is because of some inherent racism or ideological point scoring, as Eric Holder suggested in this interview. I mean, I think it's despicable.
Darrell Issa, the congressman who's the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, has called Holder to testify before his committee come January. In his letter, Issa wrote, we can throw that up on the screen, specifically, the hearing will focus on what senior department officials could and should have done to put a stop to this reckless program, as well as the specific areas where failures in communication and management occurred. I know that Issa is very, very concerned, very unhappy with this entire program. He's been very passionate and very outspoken about this issue. What do you think about the timing of this interview and of his comments? Ed, what do you think about why he's doing it this way at this time?
Well, I think they're trying to push back against the process that Congress is going through and trying to get a hold of all of their communications between ATF, the Department of Justice, and the White House, because there were communications throughout this entire chain of command. There were people in the ATF that were communicating the results of Fast and Furious to a deputy national security advisor in the White House, and so there are steps all along this path, and Congress wants to get to the bottom of who knew about this program, what was actually authorized to take place, and what the actual purpose of this program was, and how it got so out of hand that it ended up resulting in hundreds of murders being conducted with weapons supplied by the ATF. And obviously, that's a huge political problem for Eric Holder and the Obama administration. And they're trying to make it look like there's really nothing going on here, that it's all just a political game show, and there's nothing really to investigate, which is absurd under the circumstances.
Well, certainly so many people are watching this very closely, and as you point out, some folks have asked for Holder to resign. He knows that the spotlight is a bright one on him right now, and one that we're going to be following for quite some time. Thank you so much for joining us, Ed. Appreciate it. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Nice to have you here. So this is an investigation that's going to, take on a life of its own. It already has.
Well, and here's just yet another distraction for the Obama administration. Now, Eric Holder. I mean, before long, it's going to end up Obama's going to be distracted by so many issues that he's not going to be able to run for president when it's time to run for president.
Well, we shall see what lies ahead. And as always, though, it's great to see you.
That's all.